This CST Saints Training Camp Report is brought to you by Louisiana Cat.
The Saints practice field was a little less crowded on Monday as the team made their first wave of cuts. And even though the squad doesn't need to be down to 75 players until next Monday, Sean Payton wanted to get a jump on some of his roster moves.
The schedule is different than it used to be 10 years ago, where you were concerned about your numbers because of the amount of practice time you had. With the way our practice schedule shapes up, this is something that we felt was going to help us get more repetitions to some of the other guys competing, and we'll continue to look at doing that.
The most noteworthy cut was to veteran quarterback Seneca Wallace, who was battling Luke McCown for the backup quarterback job. So now that the job is his, the pressure is off of McCown, right?
No, I honestly look at it as, now I need to be more sharp. Now I need to continue to prove their decision right.
The other cuts that raised eyebrows were to veteran receivers Steve Breston and Patrick Creighton. The two were brought in after the receiving core was thinned by injuries, but the performances of Nick Toon and Kenny Stills seemed to cement their roles on the Saints' plans for this season, or so it would seem. Stills isn't quite ready to put himself on the final roster.
It's above my pay grade, so I just do what I'm supposed to do, and that's come out here and work.
You don't think though it helps your chances?
I'm sure, once the more guys get cut, it's going to help our chances, but it's not something I'm worried about. Just worried about playing.
With so many departures, the other story from practice was who was returning. Special teams star Courtney Roby and linebackers Martez Wilson and Curtis Lofton were back to work on Monday. Also back on the practice field today was Marcus Colston, who the Saints have taken a cautious approach with throughout training camp. What do his teammates think of that approach? They're just fine with that.
I think it's important for him to be healthy. You push an injury early in camp to be in camp, and then it nags you for another 8 weeks, and you might be on the field, but you're 75%. And in this league, you can't be 75%. It's just not going to get the job done. So, we know that when Marcus comes back, he'll do the things necessary to get himself ready. But you look at a player that's been awfully consistent for 7 years, and I think they know what they're going to get out of him.
So the Saints know what they have in Marcus Colston, but they also appear to know what they have in their young receivers and the veteran McCown, all of which are another step closer to dressing against the Falcons in the season opener. In Metairie, Paul Boran with your CST Saints Report.